of Lower School Theater Arts doing an evening of Shakespeare. Technically afternoon, but we performed last night. They did wonderfully on the stage. Thank you to the parents that also provided foods. And a little bit about our first ever year as Lower School Theater Arts. I'm the director, Ms. Peters, Brianne Peters. We have been, since September, a group of 30 4th and 5th graders learning about basic theater skills and techniques. We've learned about directions on stage, how to manage props, costumes, makeup. We've learned a little bit about lights and sound, and we've talked about the history of theater, especially Shakespeare, since that's what our performances have been tonight. You're going to see 2 performances. The first one is Julius Caesar. Then we'll have a brief intermission to get set up for our second performance, which is Romeo and Juliet. And then families with the children, there will be desserts and foods provided for them to munch on afterwards. I feel like that was it. Yep. Again, you are welcome to take pictures. I know a lot of people did that last night. Perfect. I know we've got some people recording. Thank you. And without further ado, I will bring to you tonight our first ever Lower School Theater performance of an evening afternoon with Shakespeare.
stay home.
Caesar shall go forth!
Alas, my lord, your wisdom is consumed in conflict.
But tempted by the rumor he would be offered the crown, Caesar overcame his fears.
How foolish their affairs seem now, Calpurnia!
He was not even upset by the soothsayer who met him on the Senate.
I do not shall come. Oh, but not God.
Inside the Senate house, while Caesar listened to the physician, the conspirators slowly gathered around him, drawing their daggers. Each one stabbed Caesar. The wax being bruised as Caesar fell dead upon the floor. The others said others fled in fear and confusion.
Ambition's debt is paid! Adieu!
Freedom!
Tyranny is dead.
Only Martha Antony, his friend and admirer, returned to grieve for Caesar.
Welcome, Martha Antony.
Almighty Caesar, just go I so will.
Antony then begged the conspirators to kill her too, if they bore her any grudge.
I do beseech you, bear me hot and fill with pleasure.
Oh, Antony, beg not your death of us.
But Brutus, who wanted no other bloodshed, and promised to explain his actions in full.
I will deliver you the cause why I, that did love Caesar when I struck him, have thus proceeded.
Then Antony asked to speak at the funeral, and against Cassius' advice, Brutus agreed.
And in the pulpit, as becomes a friend, speak in the order of his funeral.
You shall, Martha Antony.
You know not what you do. Do not consent.
Left alone with Caesar's lifeless body, Antony swore to avenge his death.
Thou art the ruins of the noblest man that ever lived in the tide of time. Woe to the hand that shed this costly blood.
Brutus explained to the shocked citizens of Rome that Caesar had threatened their freedom.
As Caesar loved me, I weep for him. And as he was valiant, I honor him. But as he was ambitious, I slew him.
But when Antony spoke with great passion of Caesar's love for them, the people were moved.
Friends, Romans, countrymen, lend me your ears. I come to bury Caesar, not to praise him. The evil that men do lives after them. The good is oft entered with their bows.
They turned against the conspirators and rioted through the streets seeking revenge.
Burn, seek, fire, slay, revenge, kill.
Now Antony was satisfied. With the people behind her, she could drive out her enemy.
Now let it work, mischief. Thou art foot. Take thou course thou wilt.
Pursued by the angry mob, the conspirators fled the city. Brutus and Cassius raised armies intending to retake Rome.
Tear him, cumber and toe.
To Brutus, Cassius, burn all.
Antony formed an alliance with Octavius, Caesar's lawful heir, taking money left by Caesar to the people of Rome to pay for their legion.
Brutus and Cassius are levying powers. Let our alliance be combined.
For this do were we by mistake.
In raising money for their armies, Brutus and Cassius quarreled much. Their friendship in battle for Rome seemed doomed.
Antony come down upon us with a mighty power.
The remaining conspirators unwisely agreed to set out for Philippi and confront their enemy, just as Antony hoped they would.
'Tis the better that the enemy seek us. So shall we waste his means, weary his soldiers?
There is a tide in the affairs of men, which taken at the flood leads on to fortune. Omitted all of voyager life is bound in miseries and shadows.
Drums rolled as dawn broke, and the battle for Rome began. All day it raged, but weakened by the long march to Philippi. Brutus and Cassius' armies were no match for the enemy. Those who had not died in battle fell upon their knees.
Thou art the ruins of the noblest man that ever lived in the tides of time. All the conspirators say only he did that they didn't envy of great Caesar.
Call the field to rest, and let's away, to part the glories of this happy day.
Lady Capulet was planning a party. She was sure no members of the Montague family would turn up, as the Capulets and the Montagues have been feuding for years. The quarrel ran so deep that even the servants fought. But Lady Capulet was wrong.
Those who are charged about in no fair Verona, find those persons' names out who are written, and tell to them, my house and welcome on my pleasure stay.
I intend to find those persons whose names are written. I must be the land.
Do you by compliment us, sir?
But Romeo, Lord Montague's son, and Mercutio, his friend, did come in disguise. He was infatuated with Lady Capulet's niece, Rosaline.
I'm the famous Rosaline.
Is love a tender thing? It is too rough, too rude, too boisterous, and it pricks like a thorn.
Romeo, however, instantly forgot Rosaline when he saw Lady Capulet's sweet young daughter Juliet. Her beauty stole his heart.
Did my heart love till now?
Unfortunately, Romeo was recognized by Lady Capulet's fiery nephew, Tybalt.
This is a Montague.
Young Romeo, is it?
She doth teach us the torches to burn bright.
But Lady Capulet forbade fighting at her ball and made Romeo welcome. He shall be ignorant.
'Tis a shame. Snowy dawn, true game grows.
So Romeo wooed Juliet, and their love was mutual despite the feud.
The only son of her great enemy. My only love sprung from my only hate.
As the party ended, Juliet raced to her balcony to declare her love for Romeo to the stars.
Oh, Romeo, Romeo.
Romeo risked death by climbing the Capulet's orchard wall to see Juliet.
Oh, gentle Romeo.
Oh, it is my love.
That night, the loving pair agreed to wed in secret, lest their feuding families part them.
'Tis but thy name that is my enemy.
As dawn broke and Juliet's nurse finally got her bed, Romeo raced to the Friar Lawrence.
Madam, parting is such sweet sorrow. Hence I shall go to my ghostly father's cell.
The friar agreed to marry the sweethearts, hoping this would unite the families.
What's that, Rosaline?
Rosaline? I forgot that name.
Later that morning, Juliet joined Romeo at the chapel, and the happy pair were wed.
These violent delights had violent ends.
Then Romeo and Juliet parted as they knew they must, until the friar broke the news to their families.
Ah, Juliet, true love,
Violent ends.
On the way home, Romeo met his good friends Benvolio and Mercutio, being harangued by Tybalt for consorting with Montague.
Thou consort with Romeo.
good Capulet, whose name I tender as dearly as my own.
Romeo, now related to Tybalt by his marriage, tried to prevent a fight, but failed.
Put thy rapier up.
Tybalt and Mercutio's swords clashed, and Mercutio fell dead.
A plague of both your houses! The man were beaten!
Provoked by his friend's death, Romeo struck Tybalt with a fatal blow.
Romeo, away! Be gone! Tybalt slain. Oh, my fortune's full!
The Princess of Verona was tired of feuding families disturbing the peace, so when she heard of the deaths, she banished Romeo.
Let Romeo hence in haste.
Unhappy Juliet, her cousin killed by Romeo and Romeo exiled. What could she do now but go and beg for her forgiveness and say farewell?
Oh, serpent heart.
Not until morning did the lovers part, hoping that the Friar Lawrence could secure pardon for Romeo and pacify their families.
I must be gone. Stay yet. 'Tis morn. It is not near. The lark, the nightingale, daylight, a meteor. I'll stay and die. Be gone. Farewell.
But Lady Capulet, thinking to comfort Juliet after Tybalt's death, told her faithful suitor Paris that they could wed on Thursday.
I would that Thursday were tomorrow. I must prepare Juliet. Oh, daughter!
Horrified, Juliet rejected the plans, but dared not to reveal her secret marriage to Romeo.
God's bread, it makes me mad.
Juliet ran to the Friar Lawrence for help, and in desperation they agreed a devious plot.
No, I do spy, Captain Hope, and I will do it without fear or doubt.
Accordingly, Juliet went home and to her mother's joy agreed to marry Paris.
Pardon, I beseech you.
We go to church tomorrow.
Juliet took a drug so as to appear dead for 42 hours.
What if it be poison?
When Juliet's nurse tried to wake her up, she seemed quite lifeless.
Flood the bed, bride. Lady, help, my lady's dead.
So Romeo bought poison and went to the tomb, where he found Paris, whose misery attacked him, Romeo, who slew him in defense.
Oh, I'm slain.
Then Romeo gave Juliet a kiss and drank the poison. Just too late, the friar arrived, now aware that his message had not reached Romeo.
Romeo, elect!
As the friar cried out in horror, Juliet woke to see Romeo lifeless beside her.
Oh, my time down.
Hearing voices of Romeo, the friar fled, but Juliet, unable to imagine life without Romeo, took up his dagger and, stabbing herself, fell dead upon her husband's body.
Oh, happy dagger. I'm dead over this thing.
When the Capulets and Montagues arrived upon this tragic scene, they were grief-stricken at the consequences of their vendetta.
Lady Capulet and Lord Montague vowed to raise golden statues for each other's children. Thus they buried their feud along with their precious children, Romeo and his sweet Juliet.
Poor sacrifices of our enmity. For never was there a story more road than this of Juliet and her sweet Romeo.
We will be doing it again next year. Remember, there's food and desserts over here for the kids and families to partake in. Thank you for coming this afternoon. We appreciate it.